Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tiffany Benson, one part of Team Benson, and we hit 600 subscribers! Woo! I'm so excited, guys. My neighbors probably think I'm crazy. Okay guys, as you guys can tell, I'm really excited about this. This has been such a fun, amazing journey of being able to build something so nice. If you guys watch some of my earlier videos, I have built this from like the ground up, and Mr. Benson has helped me, but a lot of it has been on my own, and it's so cool to see some of the things that I've done and to be like, I did that, I built that. So if I could do it, anybody can do it. But in this video, guys, we're gonna tell you guys all the things that we're gonna be giving away for the giveaway because we hit 600 subscribers, which I have a bunch of seeds right here that I'm gonna talk about. And then also I'm gonna do a little bit of a garden tour. And then halfway through the tour, I'm gonna tell you the keyword that you're gonna need to comment down below in order to be entered into the giveaway. So let's get to it. Okay, so first and foremost, let's talk about the seeds that I'm going to give away. So all of these seeds came from the Great American Seed Up. If you guys live in Arizona, this is an Arizona only event where you go to, there's a church in Central Phoenix, and you can go and buy seeds by the scoop. So for me, one scoop is like seeds for like the rest of my life if we don't move to our forever land. So if we end up staying here, then it's seeds for the rest of my life because there's a lot of seeds in one scoop. So I thought it would be a great idea to get a scoop and a half or 2 scoops of some things and do giveaways on my channel to kind of be able to share some of the things that we have here in Arizona. All of these seeds are grown here in Arizona, so they are a lot more heat tolerant. To me, like they don't bolt as much as quickly as some of the other seeds that I've got from other companies. So I thought it's a little way of giving a little piece of Arizona and sprinkling it all around the world. So what I have going up is we have a lot of seeds that are going to be in this giveaway, guys. So I'm going to pick 2 winners, and 2 winners are going to get some of each of the seeds. So I have collard greens, and I have nasturtiums, I have red Russian kale, I have spinach, and this is the spinach that I have right now that I'm growing, and it's delightful. I would like to say it's very delightful. I have cilantro, and this one is a slow bolting cilantro. I have a Savoy cabbage. I have some dill, some red core carrots. I grew some of these and they're pretty cool because they actually have like a red core. And some parsley and some okra. These are the okra that I'm currently growing, and I did grow these last year too, and they are amazing. So all of these seeds are going to be given away. Like I said, we're going to pick 2 winners, and each winner is going to get some of each one of the seeds with the information card on about the seeds and when to plant them, how far to plant them, and all that. So all the information will be included. But I'm going to go put these inside, that way I make sure that they're not getting warm or anything, and then we're going to start a tour. Alright guys, so I really started filling in a lot of the garden holes. I had a couple things that I was starting, and now a lot of those starts are outside. There's only a couple things that are still inside that I'm growing out here. You'll see them on the table, and then at night I put them underneath grow lights just for some extra like boost. But let's see what we got going on. So the Swiss chard is still looking so super amazing, and guys, look how tall these lettuces have gotten. These are the ones that I'm letting flower, and these are going to be beautiful flowers, I think. I don't know if that's going to focus. Let's see if I can get kind of a... I think that's going to be pretty. So we will see what those look like. But we have the spinach that's doing really well. We've been eating this and putting it into a couple of dishes. And then we have the kale that's starting to grow in. I had 1 lettuce start that I started inside, so hopefully this will kind of stay a little bit throughout the summer when I take these big ones out. And then I have another kale over there. And then the nasturtium, look, it's just kind of reaching around and doing its own thing. I love it. But the celery is still doing really good. The kale is still doing really good. I'm actually going to come in and prune up these celeries, get a little bit of those in the freezer, and then maybe get a couple of the kales in the freezer too as well. And then the collards back there, I did take a bunch of those. We had some of those for dinner. But look at this, guys. These are the Dragon Ton bush beans, and they are starting to flower, so I cannot wait because this is my favorite green bean ever. Like, I love it so much. And I'm starting to love this little section too. Back, it has all of my kind of kitchen herbs that I just come out and grab whenever I'm cooking. I need to get something for that little pot. I haven't decided what I wanted to put in there yet. But we have some flowers coming in. This one's really big. That one's been growing in ground that I transplanted. And then these ones are coming back, and this one's coming back. So the garlic, does anybody know how long does garlic take? Because I feel like I've been waiting for this garlic for a full year. So if you know, please leave me a comment down below and let me know. But the squash is starting to do really well. It's starting to get a lot bigger. And that, I thought in my last video, was a purple Cherokee. It is not. It is a wild cherry, a Texas wild cherry. So those should be some cherry tomatoes. And then we have the onion still doing well. The artichoke is still doing well. And then the sage is getting a lot bigger. I'm going to come in and start pruning up that to dry. And then I'm going to see what those beets look like too as well. And then my planter is doing really good. As you guys can see, all of this I grew from seed except for this one, that time, that chamomile, and those onions. Everything else, like all of this basil, I want to have a lot of basil this year, guys, so that we have enough to dry. So this little one has a lot of basil, and then it has Aunt Molly's. I don't know which ones are Aunt Molly's and which ones are the cinnamon basil, because right now they all kind of look the same. So we'll kind of see, I guess, once we get a little bit closer to things growing out. And then the other new addition, guys, are going to be the strawberries. So I have strawberry plants that are going to be hanging, and then this one is going to be the top of my new planter. So I just kind of set them down here for right now until I decide where I want to put them. So I am so excited this year about growing strawberries. I love strawberries. Like, they are my favorite thing. I love to cook with them. I love 4th of July and putting like strawberries on cakes with like jellos and whipped creams and different things like that. I make a margarita cake with strawberry, and it's my 4th of July special, and I love it. So I'm excited to be having strawberries from my own garden this year. So fingers crossed that these little guys give me strawberries. So you guys cross your fingers too, because I really want them. Okay guys, next over here is the gigantic bush tomato. This was supposed to be a bush. Well, I guess it is a little bit of a bush. It's just a tall bush. But I'm getting a lot of really good tomatoes on here. We're just waiting for the next little red one to pop up. But we have a ton of tomatoes on here, guys. This plant is loaded. A little big one down there too as well. And down there. There are tons. I did take off all the bottom leaves on the cabbage. We made some egg rolls with those, and I wanted to give a little bit of space because I'm going to put the other okra plants that I have right behind there. I'm not going to actually take the roots out on those, even though they are in a pot. I'm going to leave the roots, but I'm going to just add a bunch of compost to raise it all the way up to here. So we're going to see if that works. I think it will. And as you guys can see, my pepper plant's doing a lot better. This is the one I've been worried about and I've been babying, but I added compost, a bunch of compost to it. Like, actually it was all the way up to the brim, and it's kind of settled now. But by adding the compost, it kind of just gave it like a boost. So it's growing a lot of new leaves, and it's starting not to look so yellowed. And the peppers, as you can see, these are shishito peppers. They're actually starting to get long. So they're not like the weird stubby ones like they were. This shishito plant is still doing good, and it's producing a lot of shishitos on here. So I am very excited about this because we did not have shishitos this winter, and it was horrible because of the stupid hailstorm. But we will for the spring. And then look at this, guys. It's climbing. It's climbing. It's getting so tall. Like it's all the way almost up there. So, and it's starting to flower too as well. Like we have some little red bean flowers right there. So I planted 4 on here. I'm hoping this will be enough to really make it thick and beautiful. So I'm gonna have to come in and pull this lettuce because it is really bolted, and I want to just give a lot more room for the beans to have some sun before I plant something in this space. And I need some more compost in this space too as well. The beets are doing really good. Soon I'm gonna come out and grab those. And then that tomato is doing pretty good too as well. That one is a Cherokee purple tomato. I know that for sure. So the herbs are still doing great. We have the rosemary, and then we have the thyme. This thyme is trying to flower, so I've been trying to keep it trimmed so it will control some of the flowering on it. So guys, vertical gardening is everything. I feel like even if you have a big space to garden with, that you should still practice vertical gardening because it will give you so much more room and so much more variety to your garden because you can add so much to it. You know, a lot of people ask me like, how can you fit so much back there? And it's because I have all different types of trellises and arches and just things that I just grow everything up. Even the tomatoes, I try and single stem all the way up to where it's gonna grow, to where I have space in front of it in order to put something else. So that leads me to the keyword for this giveaway. Everybody needs to comment down below vertical gardening and say one thing that they like to grow vertically, and that will enter you in to the seed giveaway. Yay! So my first little round of beans in my cinder blocks are still doing good. These ones are the purple ones. So as you can see, look at all those flowers on there, guys. This is gonna be a lot of beans. And then the ones in this pot finally all popped up. So these ones are some Blue Lake bush beans. So those will be a lot of beans too as well. So all of the squash and the cucumbers, those are the cucumbers back there, they're pickling bush. And then I have squash up here and a squash right there. They're all starting to do really, really good and expand to get bigger. The straight neck squash are starting to get bigger. The watermelon back there is getting bigger. And then also the midget cantaloupe over here is getting bigger. These I'm really excited about. I grew last year. They taste amazing. So if we go over here to this little pot, guys, you can see all of these little flowers are starting to lose the flower, and then the eggplant is gonna come in. I saw one earlier. I don't know where I lost it at, but it's almost forming. But all of those little flowers are starting to make little eggplants. So if you fill them, they're kind of hard. Oh, I think it's this one. Yeah, see, it's kind of hard. It's a little eggplant coming in. And then we have the other bush beans with the cinder blocks. These ones are just now starting to try and get their flowers. I planted those a little bit later, so those ones won't flower as quickly. So over here in this little section, I trimmed up this cabbage to see if maybe it'll head up and to kind of get the leaves out of the way. This one was getting really eaten by bugs, so I just kind of trimmed that one up. So we have okra there, okra there, okra there, okra there, okra here, and okra there. I'm so excited. And if you guys remember, there was a big cabbage plant there, so I took it up and I took a little video so you guys can see what I did with it. Alright guys, so it's finally time for me to say goodbye to my beautiful cabbage. This is going in the pot for dinner tonight, so time to cut it. Alright guys, so I want to let you guys know that what I did was that I cut it from the base, but I did not remove the roots. I don't want to dig through this garden bed and pull up a lot of stuff because I have my okra that are starting to set off their roots. So the last thing I want to do is destroy the roots of the okra plants. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bury this so that it starts to die, the roots start to die. And then the worms and the other decomposing insects in there will take care of it for me. And then that way there'll be enough space for the okra to grow. Now what I'll also do is that as I pull out these other plants, then once they're all out, so these 3 broccolis and this cabbage, then I will put a layer of compost down, because then it'll give me a little bit more time for the okra to have a little bit more space so the compost isn't right up to the okra, and that'll give some nutrients for the okra to grow for its season. So here is my cabbage. I took off all the outer leaves on it and I put those in the worm compost bin, so it'll give the worms something to eat, because I'm running out of leaves to give them, but time to take this little guy inside. So I had a lot of people comment and say, your broccoli plants are giving you a lot of broccoli. And guys, there is a lot to pruning the plant. If you go with the natural life cycle of the plant and just grow it organically, it's going to do what it needs to do, and it's going to give you as much as you want, because it wants to flower. You want to eat its flowers, so make it flower. So by cutting all those leaves off of it and just kind of letting it focus on giving you the flowers, they just keep popping back up every couple of days. So the little Space Master cucumbers are getting bigger. They're gonna be beautiful on this like little trellis that I made. I made this out of chicken wire, guys, and just some poles and some zip ties. Zip ties are my best friend here in the garden. And then we have the beets that are still doing really good over here. I tried the beet greens. They are delicious. So I think I'm gonna start cutting these and using these while I still have them. And then these are the Armenian cucumbers. They are getting so huge, and I had an extra Kentucky Wonder bean plant, so I just popped it in right there. So we'll see if it grows. Which brings me to my next point, guys. This is my worm compost bin, and look at all the things that are trying to grow in there. It like really shows, I think, how things can grow no matter what. So don't be afraid of planting things, guys, because all it needs is dirt, water, and a little bit of sun. And this is even trying to peek out of the sun, or out to the sun, to be able to grow. So don't be afraid, just put it in a pot and grow it. And then there is some more flowers. So this is just a side note. I figured out what to do with my little garden tools, guys. I put these little hooks into the fence and then got some little tool and put it on there. So now my little garden tools hang up on my fence instead of just thrown about my garden. So the poblano peppers are doing really, really good. So one of the things I noticed, guys, is that there's worms in my pots. So instead of taking the leaves out, because my peppers, you want to kind of keep the bottom leaves off of the peppers just so the water's not splashing up on them. So I take off the bottom leaves and I just dropped them back in the pot. So then that way it'll give the worms and all the other little critters in there something to eat. So the cilantro is going to need to come up soon because it is starting to flower, as you guys can see. But that's perfect timing because we have another little bush cucumber in here that's getting a lot of little leaves on it. So soon that's going to be this whole entire tomato cage. And then my bush beans are doing super well. So all the ones up here are going to climb the trellis, and then the ones over here are bush beans. And then this pot is really big with them. So once again, these ones are the climbing ones, and then these ones are the bush ones. And then these are ones that I grew indoors. So these ones are all bush beans that I grew inside. So those will be just growing some bush beans. I want to say they're big kahuna bush beans. I'm still waiting for the flowers to be able to pot in these, but I think this is going to be beautiful once it's all grown out and I have just beans all over there, kind of draping down, and then beans in here, and then flowers in there, and then beans down there. I'm excited about that. So I got a couple pepper starts too. This one is another jalapeno. My jalapeno one that I had from last year is doing really good. It's starting to grow some jalapenos on here, which we cannot wait to eat. We love jalapenos. And then I want to try making my own cayenne pepper powder. So my own ground cayenne. So I have a start that is already growing little peppers on it. This thing is ridiculous. I think it's gonna grow a lot of peppers. And then the mint is doing super well. The lemon balm I'm gonna start trimming and drying. And then the mint, we're just letting that grow out for summer mojitos. So this has become like my magical space back here. Sometimes I feel like I just come back here and just sit in the middle of my garden on my little seat and just stare at things. Like I stare at all the geckos that are running by, the birds. I had some birds come in and actually pick worms off of my cabbage plant, which I was like, thank you. Do you need anything? Do you want like some water? Like, do you need a blanket? Like, it's amazing how when you have just regular like predator things come in and pick off all the bad bugs, you'll be so nice to them. Now when you lay down some seeds, then you're like, no, get out of my garden. But when you see them pick that little caterpillar off of your cabbage and just gulp it down and walk off, you want to put down a bowl of water for that. So last up, guys, I filled this space. I now have some bush beans in here. I still have the flowers right there. My sage is there, basil's doing good, and then I have some bush beans down here too as well. So I'll probably end up moving these when it gets probably later in August, but for right now, everything's growing really well right here. So thank you guys for just coming in and tuning in again and sharing this space with me. It means a lot to me to be able to post these videos and to be able to have this community where people can come and watch them and learn something and also share their knowledge. So don't be afraid to leave some comments down below on different things that you might be growing vertically, because that is the key word for today, vertical gardening, and maybe it might be able to help somebody else. Until next time, grow yourself a garden, because even a small space can provide you with tons of food. Bye guys.